your girl Nay. I'm back with another video. So today is going to be a Q&A that I'm going to do with the help of my nieces and nephews. They sent me some questions to ask, and this segment is going to be called Sip and Chat, episode 1, Who is Shanasia? So we're going to have a little wine, do a little drinky drink, and I'm going to answer these questions. So get your boo, get your best friend, your sister, your cousin, your drink, maybe your trees. I don't know if y'all smoke trees, but get all of that and get comfortable because we are going to start to spill the tea and answer these questions. So I'm going to go get my wine. I'm going to stop rambling. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm back. I have my handy dandy Stella Rose Black, and we are going to just pour our first cup. I don't know how much of this I have, but it's fine because I'm not a big drinker no way. So we're just going to start small. I am a little bit of a drinker. Okay, so to my nieces and nephews for sending out these questions. So the first, and I'm using my laptop because I'm recording with my phone. So I put the questions they sent me in my notes. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm trying to remember the question that was asked. So the first question is, how does it feel when you proved everyone who said you couldn't get your PhD because of your disability wrong? Okay, so a little backstory. I was born an epileptic. It lay dormant for a while, and then something traumatic happened and it brought it on. Okay, let me take a sip. Okay, that was more than a sip. But anyway, yeah, I was born an epileptic and it lay dormant for a while. And then when I was in elementary school, I don't want to say too much because I'm going to do a story time about that. When I was in elementary school, something had happened, and then that's when I guess like it made my seizures active. But yeah, I'm an epileptic, and I also am diagnosed with, let me pronounce it right, dyscalculia, which makes it basically, it's like ADHD but for math. So it makes it hard for me to do basic arithmetic, count money, understand certain dance sequences and stuff like that. Like anything involving counting and numbers and stuff like that, it's a little more challenging for me. Not that I can't do it, it's just a little more challenging. Like if you ask me 5 plus 3, I'm going to tell you, you know, it's 8. But if you flip it around, 3 plus 5, I'll be like, now wait, whoa, you just flipped these numbers on me. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait, let me get my brain together. But the answer's still going to be 8, but because the numbers are flipped around, I'm just like, okay, hold on. Let me really look and see what this is asking me so I can give the correct answer. So, with all that being said, yes, I do have an IEP. Yes, I currently use my IEP in college. And yes, I am graduating. I used my IEP all through college when I was in Alabama State. And I've been using my IEP at Capella while working on my master's in counseling, which your girl graduates March 20th, 2026. Clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it. And I am starting my PhD program April 13th, 2026. So it's kind of back to back. So how did I feel proving people wrong? Honestly, I proved a lot of people wrong with my high school diploma. Because the BOE and certain teachers I had, they was always like, you know, she's not competent enough to be in the classroom with regular kids. She's not competent enough to get a high school diploma. She's just going to get something that says she did 4 years of high school, and then we're going to throw her in an independent living program and hopefully get her a job as like a cashier or a bagger at the grocery store. I wasn't rocking with that. What was the mean? And I took that personally. I took that quite personally. It had got so bad to the point where my mom had to hire a lawyer for me to go to regular school with regular kids, whatever that may mean. So with me getting my high school diploma, you know, I went from alternative school to, I guess, regular school, and, you know, joining the sports teams, joining the dance team, you know, being the social butterfly that I sometimes tend to be. Like, I proved a lot of people wrong just doing that. So it actually feels really good. And it's sad at the same time because why did I have to prove you wrong about something that you didn't even know if I could do or not? Like, you're talking about an elementary school kid saying they're not competent enough to go to college. And at that point, I'm not even thinking about going to college. So I feel good that, you know, I proved people wrong. I didn't let my disabilities define me. And everything I do with purpose. And if someone tell me that I can't do something, it just makes me want to do it even more. And that's part of me just being a badass kid. But at the same time, like, if you tell me, oh, you can't get your license, my license is sitting in my wallet right now. You tell me I can't live on my own, guess where I'm at? Not my mom's house, not my sister's house, not my dad's house. If you tell me, like, you know, you can't get a degree, I'm working on degree number 2 and I start on degree number 3 in less than a month or so. I'm gonna do it. So it felt good proving them wrong, but it also made me kind of angry that I had to even prove myself or prove anybody wrong. So that's that. We're gonna get into the next question. I know who asked this one. How long did it take you to get to where you are now? It took so long. Now, I don't know if they're referring to like an education standpoint or just like who I am now, but it took so long. It took so much therapy because I had no self-confidence. I had no sense of like self-worth about myself. I had no self-love about myself. So it took a lot. It took quite a while. Education-wise, it's taken me, and just being completely vulnerable, it's taken me 6 years to get a degree that's normally only takes 3 years, but point being, like, I didn't stop. Whenever an obstacle came my way, I jumped over that hoe, and I kept going. So it took me a long time, but as far as, like, how I feel about myself and, you know, my weight loss and everything, like, it took me a very, very, very long time to get here. Do I wish that on anybody? Nah, because this was a hard path to go on. And I'm going to be on this path until the day I leave this world because, unfortunately, I identify as a PWD. So anything with a disability in daily life is going to be more challenging than it is for someone who doesn't have a disability. So it took me quite a while. Next question. Were you always sure about your career path? That is a good one. So, about that question, was I always sure about my career path? I want to say yes, but I want to say no because my dad, he had a meeting with like the guidance counselors at school when I had first got like an IEP or whatever, and they asked me what did I want to be when I grow up, and I was like a child psychologist. It was like, what school did you want to go to? I wanted to go to Princeton. I don't know why. Maybe because of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was like, I want to go to Princeton. So they was like, okay, so you got a lot of work to do. I'm like, yeah. So when I graduated high school, I actually ended up going to Alabama State, and I did rehab services with a concentration in addiction studies. Clock it, all my rehab people, class of 2020, the best graduating class from the rehab department. No shade, no tea. I love y'all though. But anyway, yeah, I went to Alabama State, didn't go to Princeton, and after that, when I got my bachelor's, I was like, do I want to do PT? Do I want to do OT? Do I want to do AT? You know, what do I want to do? I've always been in the medical field, but what exactly is my calling within the medical field? So one day, I don't know who I was talking to. It was probably one of my friends from college or one of my high school friends. And they was like, you ever thought about being a therapist? Like, you would be such a good therapist. Like, you listen, you don't judge. Like, when I talk to you, I feel like you're listening to me. I feel comfortable being vulnerable. Like, you ever thought about that? And I was like, you just going through some things. You feeling good because you got somebody listening, but it's a thought. And then the more I started to like realize how good at, you know, being a therapist, being a listening ear, you know, being supportive, providing a safe space, I was like, I'm gonna try it out. So I applied for Capella mental health counseling program in April 2023, got accepted. And the more I actually took a dive into what it is being a therapist and like being a mental health professional, I was like, okay, I'm rocking with this. Like, we're gonna do this. This is my field. This is my calling. And now here it is. I'm in my internship, and they've offered me residency, which is pretty much when you get paid to see clients, but you can't see clients. You can't like work on your own as an independent licensed professional counselor in the state that you're in. And it's just like every day that I'm growing as a therapist, every day that, you know, I'm seeing different clients, doing different evaluations, doing different intakes. I'm like, I'm really good at this. And all of my clients always say the same thing. She's really good. She know how to probe the hell out of somebody, which I do. My bestie Gio tells me that all the time. You can probe the hell out of somebody. You can make me say things that I never thought I was gonna say. So I was just like, yep, this is definitely my calling. So to answer that question, yes and no. I've always kind of been sure of my career path. So we are going to get into question number Question number 4. This question asks, and I think this question was from MJ. This sounds like an MJ question, which is my nephew. Whenever you feel unmotivated, what drives you forward to complete your goals and aspirations? That definitely seems like an MJ question. Thank you, MJ, for the question. So when I'm unmotivated, it's not the student loans. It's not my mom. It's not that, my nieces and nephews are watching my moves and stuff. It's none of that, surprisingly. It's a small percentage, but it's me. Because for a long time, I started to believe the things that people were telling me. I started to believe, maybe I can't do this. I started to believe that maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not competent enough. So I was just like, you done made it this far. You got to keep going now. You was grounded, but you already snuck out. You already at the party. You might as well enjoy it while you out. And that's what motivates me. On top of the fact that I know my dad, rest his soul, he never believed in giving up on anything. He never believed in starting something and not finishing it. So when I realized, like, my older sister Deidre, rest her soul, my dad, my brother, my brother-in-law, when I realized all of my angels that are watching me, it's like, yeah, nah, whatever you're going through, feel how you feel, but you got to get up. What's the TikTok? Girl, get out of it. Girl, get up. Girl, come on. And that's exactly what I do. And I just realized, like, the impact that I can make as a person who identifies as a PWD, a person who was written off as a child, how much of a difference I can make if I'm sitting there, counseling someone, or, I'm being invited to speak at an event and they found out that I have an IEP, I'm someone who identifies as a PWD. The change that I can make and that I can bring to certain spaces, also for my Black brothers and sisters, I'll be like, hold up, wait, girl, get up. Girl, come on, come out of it. It hit you hard, but it didn't take you out of here. Girl, get up. So that's what really keeps me motivated. This next question, I think this is question 5, and I think I know who this one came from. After college, what was your biggest struggle? Child. Woo chile. Woo chile. Where do I even start? Y'all, I went to college in Alabama. Granted, I didn't know anything about Alabama, but I didn't know Alabama, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I didn't know Alabama was so behind on time. They do not have a bus system. They do not have a train system. So after college, with the guy I was engaged to, that's a story time that's coming later, like a seafood bowl story time. So I'm not gonna get too much into that. The guy that I was dating, we had moved in together. So I was living in Alabama for a couple years, post graduation from my bachelor's program. And it was so hard to find a job in my field, because with a rehab degree, you can do like casework, you can kind of dibble and dabble in social work, you can do like drug counseling and stuff like that. But it was so hard to find a job within my field that didn't require me to, if not have both a car and a license, that didn't require me to have a driver's license so I can drive the company vans. Just like, well, I done went to school for 4 years now. I done graduated. I'm trying to find a job, and you mean to tell me I can't get one because I don't drive? Like, what is the world coming to? And that was one of my biggest struggles after college. The second one was figuring out what I wanted to do post baccalaureate program. And I'm just like, at first I was saying PT, then I'm like, I don't have the prereqs, and then I don't really know if physical therapy is where my heart is anymore. Then I was thinking about AT. I'm like, don't find too many AT programs around. Then I was thinking about OT, and I was like, OT's cool. I could see myself doing that because I used to work as a behavioral tech doing ABA services, and it's kind of similar, very small percentage of similarity to occupational therapy. But then I was like, nah, I ain't really rocking with this. So yeah, then I'm just like, what do I want to do? What do you want to do? What are you good at? I'm good at talking. As y'all can see, I'm a yapper. I'm good at listening. I'm good at, well, you can't get advice in therapy, but I'm good at giving advice. I'm good at providing a safe space, but I still had a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do. Ooh, excuse me, that wine. On top of everything else that was going
guys,
on. So
I don't want the
I would
video
say
to be
those were
too
two
long,
of my
so I'm
biggest
going to
things
stop
deal
it right
with
here.
post,
I remember what questions
graduation
we
from
left off
graduate.
on, and I
I'm
also
saying
ran
right
out
now,
of phone
am I
storage.
drunk?
So
Oh
we're
my
going to pick
gosh.
back up on
But those
this
were two of my
later on
hardest
during the week,
things
but hopefully
to
you
figure
guys
out or to
enjoy.
go through
This was part 1
post
of Sip
undergrad.
and Chat.
There we go.
Peace.
That's that wine talking, y'all.